You're gonna blow my mom? You're gonna blow my mom's brains out? Point that gun at me again.
It is an absolutely shocking video of a man shooting his girlfriend's son in the ear in a domestic dispute, and we are joined by that young man himself to get to the bottom of what happened. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. There's this cell phone video, and it is making waves online. You may have seen it. We are not going to show the whole video because it's graphic, but we're going to show snippets of things here and there. This happened down in Friendsville, Tennessee, and it shows a highly disturbing domestic incident from August 25th, 2023. Now, according to authorities in the video, you observe a man, 68-year-old Jeffrey Scott West, and he's in an argument with his partner's son, 24-year-old Kyle W. Spitze. Now, Spitze appears to be recording the video. Now, in the video, West appears to take out a handgun, saying, quote, "I'm getting ready to blow his brains out." Spitze replies, "Blow my brains out, shoot me, and I guarantee you'll go to jail for life." At another point in the video, West threatens Spitze and his mother, Melanie, "I'm getting ready to blow his brain out and yours." From there, Spitze appears to be in his room, or for majority of the video on his bed, and Melanie appears to be trying to intervene. Well, then Spitze exits the room. He says to West, "You going to blow my mom's brains out? Point that gun at me again?" And that is when West fires the gun. One shot. You come to find out that that bullet struck Spitze's ear. You hear silence. You see blood droplets. He runs out of the house. You hear Melanie saying, "You just effing hit him," followed by, "Oh my God, you're going to jail." The video stops as Spitze goes outside. And then we have come to learn that 911 is called. Officers arrive on the scene. They have a standoff with West, who is in the home. They negotiate with him. It's a standoff for about 2.5 hours. And sadly, Mr. West would be found in the home dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. As for Kyle Spitze, thankfully, he survived. He is okay. And guess what? We are joined right now by Kyle Spitze himself. Kyle, thank you so much for coming on here, and very nice to meet you. I know this isn't an easy thing to talk about, so I appreciate you being generous with your time, generous with talking about what happened. I actually just want to ask, how are you doing? As of right now, today, how are you doing?
I'm thriving actually right now. Life is doing me great. I haven't had anything serious come from it, from the event. So, I mean, honestly, I just had stitches in my ear, and I moved on. After 2 weeks, they took them out, and then it was just back to life.
That's great to hear that the physical injury was not so severe. I'm wondering about the emotional aspect of it, because right now the reason we're talking about this case is it's like that video has made its way online. A lot of people are talking about it today. I'm sure people are trying to get a word from you and to talk more about it. How is that going?
Um, I've been talking to a lot of people about it. I've been trying to tell my story, to multiple people, but not anybody important, not anybody like you. Um, so that's why I'm doing this interview, is so that I can get the truth out,
I
like my
appreciate
side of the
that.
story.
So what is
Yeah.
your side of the story? What are people not understanding?
Well, a lot of people have it misconstrued when thinking that uh, it was like my stepdad or my my actual dad, but neither. It was neither. It was just my mom's boyfriend at the time, and also a lot of people don't understand about my mother with her pants down. She was using the restroom at the time, and um, she heard the commotion about him saying that he was going to shoot me, and she came out of the restroom to see what was going on.
I'm glad you cleared that up, because I know people were wondering about that. So let's just take a
Yeah,
step back. Before we even get into that day, your relationship with West, I mean, what was it like?
me and him had a good relationship, honestly, for a long time. Um, Things just got out of hand that particular evening. They had been recently throughout the time, like throughout the last month that he was alive. Me and him started having arguments, and he was impaired a lot.
So to be clear, I mean, what were you guys disagreeing about?
I didn't have any disagreements with him. He didn't, I don't know. He just didn't like me, honestly.
But it's interesting you say that because you said you had a good relationship with him, but something changed. You mentioned that was he drinking? Was he
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
substances?
He was drinking.
Uh huh. How long had he
Yeah.
been seeing your mother?
They were together for 5 years.
5 years. Wow, wow. And
Yeah.
so during that time, but generally, what was your
And
interaction with him? Yeah.
their relationship, it was good. They never argued, honestly. It wasn't bad. They seemed like a good couple, but I don't know.
And you never had like a problem like this before. Never got into a fight with him, anything like that.
No, I
Mm.
hadn't had been in a fight with him.
By the way, how did your mom
Not any
meet him?
physical fights.
But like you had verbal
Um,
disagreements with him.
yeah.
Yeah. And how did they meet? Your mom and Mr. West.
I think they met at AA.
Okay, gotcha. So let's talk about what happened that day. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of people looking at the video. Walk us through what happened that day. How this all got started.
So basically, everybody in that house was impaired that day, me myself included. You can probably hear my voice in the video. I wasn't. I was under the influence of. I'm not going to say what, but
So you guys were all under the influence of something. How did it escalate to him wanting to have a gun out and wanting to shoot you?
oh, I don't even know because I was in my room chilling at the time. I was on my laptop, and I just walked back into my room because I heard something they were arguing. So I went out there and I looked, and I went back in my room because it wasn't really any of my business. And I heard him start yelling and saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill him" or something. And then he comes into my room and starts pointing a gun at me. So that's when I started filming, was because I knew that he was gonna come down to my room because he didn't like me, and I knew that he was like messed up that night, like messed up. So I just started recording because I knew that he was gonna like come in my room on some weird.
Did you even
So
know he
yeah,
had a gun? Like, have you ever seen him have that gun
yeah,
before?
I knew he had a gun. I mean,
Uh-huh.
we all had guns in there.
Right. And and so he comes at you with a gun. Were you shocked, or were you like, he's not serious, he's just messing around?
Nah, honestly, I didn't care. I thought he wasn't gonna shoot me. Um, I didn't really think that he like had the gall to be real.
Mm-hmm. And he's
Yeah.
never done that before. He's never taken out the gun before or done anything like that.
No, he had never done that to me. I mean, we'd shooten him off before.
But like, what was the reason he did that? You said like he didn't like you. There was some sort of disagree. Was he having a fight with your mom and then took out the gun and then came to you? Was it
Yeah,
about you?
and he was really messed up, and yeah, he was an angry drunk.
Mm-hmm.
If he was on brown liquor, he was angry, like at the world. He was just looking for a fight, basically. So that's why he came down to my room and like was pointing a gun and waving it around, saying that he was going to kill me and all this blah blah blah.
And you took out the video
So
in the hopes to stop him or to record what he's doing to like give it to police later on.
nah, I didn't care about the police at the time. I didn't think he was going to shoot me. To be real,
Uh-huh.
um, I just started recording him to make him look like, to show him the next day how he acted, so that he could feel bad about it or whatever.
Did you also think he might not remember what he did? Like, had he ever been drunk before or
Yeah,
intoxicated
exactly.
before where he didn't remember?
I'm not going to elaborate too much on that though.
Okay. So you got out of the room. You confront him, and you say in the video, you're going to shoot my mom because he made a comment that he was going to shoot you and your mom.
Yeah.
What
So
happened there?
that's why I came. That's why I came out of my room because he was like, I heard him say something. I'm gonna blow his brains out and yours, and then that's when I walked out of my room. and he was just standing there, and yeah.
And he fires a shot at you and it hits your ear. What was your reaction to that? Like, were you just completely in shock because you don't hear anything on the video, but you see blood droplets and you hear silence for a little bit?
Honestly, I didn't even feel like it didn't even hurt that bad. Um, it just went through my ear, and then I didn't even realize I got shot actually until I started feeling blood like hit
Mm-hmm.
my shirt and like start falling on the ground. Yeah, the bullet also went into the wall.
By the way, what cases like this show you is just how unpredictable the world is, right? Well, that is why I want to take a minute to thank Attorney Tom and Associates for sponsoring this episode of Sidebar, because stuff happens and sometimes you're going to need a lawyer. But finding the right legal help is so important. Well, that is where Attorney Tom comes in. So whether you were injured in a car wreck or even a refinery explosion or the victim of securities fraud, or maybe received a notification that your information was included in a data breach, maybe developed an illness as a result of a bad drug or toxic exposure, and there are so many other situations, Attorney Tom can help. You see, what Tom and his team do so well is they not only have the legal knowledge, of course, but they have genuine empathy for their clients. And having somebody you can trust is invaluable. And by the way, every call is free, it's private, and you'll be speaking with a member of his team straight away. By the way, you won't pay a dime until you win, which just shows their commitment to your success. And they have an impressive track record in tough, tough cases. And look, if your case is not the best fit for Attorney Tom and his team, well, they still may be able to recommend you a lawyer because they have a national network of attorneys they can refer you to. So with Attorney Tom and his team, you're not just hiring a lawyer. You're getting powerful allies who are committed to justice and your well-being. So if you've suffered an injury and you need legal support, click the attorneytom.com/sidebar link pinned in the comments for a free consultation or dial 855-TOM-WINS. All right, let's get back to this video story. So in the video, what's it called? The bullet hits you, you're bleeding, you run outside. What happens after that, after the video shuts off?
Okay, so I run outside and I like you look up that address, there's a lot of land. It was on 2.5 acres or something like that. I can't remember, 1.5. I just went and I ran and I started hiding behind like trees and stuff, like down the road. And then I called the cops
And where was your mom?
and I don't know. I just left the whole house.
Mm-hmm. Did she run
I
out at any
wasn't
point?
thinking, oh, actually, no, my mom ran out too,
She ran out.
because I remember calling for her. Yeah.
And then when police came to the scene, walk us through what you observed from that. Like, what happened when police arrived?
Police were there first, but um, they just told me to like stand behind their car or something like that. So they were like basically they were setting up to like SWAT the house. Like basically, when I went back into that house that next day, there was every single window in that house, 19 out of 21 of the windows had gotten shot out with tear gas and flashbangs because, like, I guess he had a standoff with them and then shot himself in the head. So,
Yeah, you didn't observe. Like, how long were you on scene for when this happened, or were you taken to the hospital immediately and you found out afterwards what
yeah, I
happened?
was taken to the hospital immediately. That's why,
Yeah.
like, I wish my mom would have done the interview too because she would have known that side to it.
Right. And to be clear, we were going to have her on. She chose not to come on. Totally respect that. Let me ask you this. So, just going back, after you run out of the house, after your mom runs out of the house, did Wes come out at any point, or did you hear him in the house? Was he just staying in there?
Nah, honestly, I think that he thought he killed me
Wow.
and that's why he killed himself.
When you found out that he died, what was your reaction?
I was just like, wow. Uh, I didn't think that he would do it like that, but
I mean,
it
you
was
had a
either he spent the rest of his life in prison or he killed himself. I mean, those were his two options basically.
how are you and your mom
And I
doing
guess he
about
just
that? Because I mean, he was in a relationship with your mom for 5 years, so I mean that's a loss. I mean, how did you and your mom feel about him dying?
Well, he wasn't like my actual father or anything, so
Right.
it didn't affect my life too much of his death. But my mom had to go to counseling for months and is still going probably every once in a while.
Yeah, I understand that. It's a miracle you're okay, and I'm happy you're okay. Talk to us about what the recovery's been like with your ear.
Oh, look, here, I'll show you the ear.
Yeah.
That is the
Wow.
ear. So it is fine. Um, I haven't had any plastic surgery on it. They did really good at the University of Knoxville.
Is
The
it?
recovery it hurt. It hurt for like a month, and then I had the stitches in for I want to say like 2.5 weeks, and then
Mm,
they came out.
wow. Good. I'm glad you're all right. That's pretty crazy. And your mom's okay? She wasn't injured in any way during the course of this?
Nah,
Yeah. Being back in the house where this happened, is it tough for you guys?
I'm not back in the house right now.
Oh, you're not. Okay. So did you guys move out of
No.
that house, or like what happened to the actual house?
I think the house got given to s- his kid's mother.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh,
So,
let me ask you. I mean, whose house was that? I should ask you that. I mean, why were you guys all in the same house at that night?
well, I was renting to stay there at that time, but uh, my mom and that's just where they lived.
Okay.
Like my
Okay.
mom and Scott.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So now that everybody's seeing this video and it's circulating online, you mentioned clearing up the record in terms of your relationship with him, why we observe certain things in the video. Is there anything else you want people to know about this, or do you not like all the attention that's coming from this video? I mean, walk us through how you're feeling right now about it. Everybody talking about it.
It hasn't affected me in real life yet, but online, I don't know, the comments are funny. People can keep talking about it. I don't care. Uh, they can, anyone can talk about it. Anyone can post it. I don't really care.
Well, listen,
It is what it is. I mean, I wasn't looking for fame, but um, it's not fame in a good way or anything.
no, I get it. Look, it's a difficult situation. It's a sad situation. I mean, he was somebody that was in your life, and your mom's life,
Yeah,
and it's really
it
tragic
was
how that
definitely
happened.
sad.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a terrible how it escalated and turned into that. But I'm glad you were able to clarify some things and clear up some things about what happened in that video. Again, I'm so happy you're okay. And I'm sorry for the loss for you and your mom. And that you guys had to go through that. But listen, Kyle, I really appreciate you taking the time coming here on Sidebar and talking about this. And again, I'll extend the invite if your mom ever wants to come on and talk to us. We have an open invite for her as well. But listen, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, of course, Jesse.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Crazy video, crazy story. Please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. Speak to you next time.